Hey guys, Fear880, and we're going to do a little revisit back to the Chrysler Carvel. Now, if you remember back, if you've watched any of my boat videos from the very beginning, I tried to do a Chrysler Carvel restoration of a boat that my dad used to own when I was a kid. Now, if you watched the videos from the beginning to the end, most likely you were quite disappointed at the end. Some were not too disappointed and some were, and y'all also sent your comments voicing your opinions. Some were good, some were bad, but none of them hurt my feelings or were majorly negative. And I understand where everyone was coming from. Now, a lot of people said, well, you gave up too soon, you could have did it, you could have did all this fiberglass work yourself, yada yada yada. And here's the thing. Blindfold me, I can rebuild a carburetor, I can do electrical work, I can work on engines, I can do pretty much anything. But when it comes to woodwork and fiberglass work, that's not in my expertise. Now, I ran up into a couple of things I want to explain to a couple of people, and I got a little surprise at the end. Number one, why did you pull the plug? I just don't get it. I mean, we were so into these videos and stuff. Number one, I had asked about 5 or 6 different companies to quote me on actually replacing the floor, the transom, and the stringers. And many people came in between $1,500 and $2,500. So, me and my son, we gutted the boat. We took all the old wood out, all the rotted wood, took all the foam out, vacuumed it up, got it completely prepped for someone to do this installation. When it came time to do the installation, they basically doubled or tripled their prices after seeing the boat. So that kind of was a little bit of a kick in the... Number two, my landlord. That warehouse that I was in at that particular time of the video was 4,500 square feet. Some of it was office, most of it was warehouse space. I used probably a quarter of it for my broadband business. But at the time, I was paying $1,200 a month because at the time, I had been in that warehouse for about 3 years up until the video. And at the time when I rented the warehouse, the economy was poor, and I got a killer deal on the lease rate on that. So, economy proved, lease was coming up for renewal, and my landlord came up to me and said, we want $4,500 a month. Now, my broadband business does okay. It pays the bills. I'd say it's successful, but not to do a rate increase of that significance. So I knew I was going to be losing my warehouse space and have to downsize to something a lot smaller, which I have, and now my new space is just barely enough for my Bayliner 175 and my Dodge Dually. Okay, also I'm in a neighborhood with an HOA, and I don't have any space to put a boat out here, and they won't even let you put a boat out here, period. It's just the way it is. Last but not least, the one thing that was a real killer was towards the last of the video, part 6, I had started compounding and polishing the boat, trying to bring the appearance back out on the gel coat. As I was doing this, what I found is the gel coat was about paper thin. I don't know how thick gel coat's supposed to be, but basically I was hitting actual fiberglass. That really brought me down. At the same time, stress cracks were starting to appear. I knew there were stress cracks that needed to be replaced, but some of them were just really bad because in what I was trying to do, I was also removing hardware, cleats and everything, and buttons and stuff from the actual hull to get it prepped for whatever I was going to do. Either I was going to re-gel coat it or do the automotive paint idea and stuff. And it was all falling apart at the end. And to seal the fate, what I had found is at the very front of the bow of the boat, where the V section is before it goes down into the actual hull area, that area was cracked on the inside. You couldn't see it from the outside. It was a major structure issue. It looked like somebody had put too much weight on the front of the bow, or possibly even hit something in the front. So what I thought was going to be a simple maybe fix up front turned into it would be another significant structure repair to the boat. What I also ran into was the financial part of it. Now, if most of you out there that are watching, if you still have your parents alive and around and doing well, hey, my hat's off to you. Spend lots of time with them. Most of us, our parents have passed and are gone. My dad meant a lot to me. Both my parents did, but my dad, we did a lot together, and he did a lot of work, a lot of tinkering to this boat, and I remember him, and I remember my childhood very vividly when we had this Chrysler Carvel boat. One of the reasons why I was trying to find it in the beginning. So it was a very sentimental part to me, but at the same time, my sentimental part was not looking at the logistics part of it, money-wise of it. What was supposed to be about a $4,000 restoration job was about to turn into a $10,000+ job. And it didn't make sense towards the end with everything that was going on. Now, a lot of comments, one of the comments was, you know, you got to spend a lot of time with your son, which is priceless. Y'all did a lot of work together, and yes, we did. I had a lot of fun working with my son, working on the boat. He learned a lot of stuff, and yeah, he still brings it up from time to time. So yes, that meant a lot to me, and a lot of the tinkering stuff that my dad had did to the boat was still on the boat. For example, he had put some shag carpet on one of the cabin panels, and the guy that I bought it off of, or somebody, had flipped the panel so you could see the shag carpet while we were dismantling the boat, getting it prepped. All that stuff was still there. He had installed a depth finder and stuff, and a lot of the work that he had done to it, we were actually finding it as we were taking it apart. So that was really cool. But at the same time, we were very fortunate. At that time, we had came across a couple of deals that allowed us to pay off a large credit card, but at the same time, to try to stick that onto my wife, saying, hey, look, I need another 10 grand to restore a boat that I won't even be able to store, at the end, it did not make sense. Now, I do know where the boat is. It's actually 15 miles away from where I live. If I wanted to go back and get it, I could. From what I understand, the boat was turned into a playhouse. Kind of pretty cool. Now, what's the whole purpose of this video? I'm gonna just kind of a little surprise. Maybe not, I don't know. If you followed this videos as long as I have and you got into it, maybe y'all will like this video. If you don't, I understand. Click on like, you know, hopefully you'll follow along with me on this. When I had first brought the boat home, and during that time, I googled the poops out of Chrysler Carvel boats. I tried to look up every bit of information that I possibly could. Turns out there was a guy named Troy in Washington State or Oregon area, somewhere out on the West Coast, northern West Coast, who also had just finished doing a lesser mild restoration on a Chrysler Carvel as well. He replaced the floor, he replaced the transom, he redid the engine, or rebuilt the engine, or freshened the engine up, and he had posted a couple of pictures on his website and stuff documenting some of it. But the good thing about his situation was his stringers, the structure of the boat was still intact. The original interior was still intact. The original seats, all the original equipment was still there. I had wrote him back and forth asking him certain questions about the boat and so forth, and we had communicated back and forth. So keep that part in the back of your mind there. As far as the fate, what did you do so what happened? What was the final fate of the Chrysler Carvel other than the boat going to the person that's 15 miles away? In the end, after I'd spent the money to buy the boat, to bring the boat here back to South Carolina, all the parts that I had bought for the boat, fixing the engine and stuff, I had right around $2,000 total invested in the project. AQ170s, the engine, the Volvo AQ170 6-cylinder, is very, very hard to come across right now. In fact, there's a water pump on eBay for sale for $800. Why? Because you can't get parts for these engines anymore. So what I decided to do was I put the engine, the outdrive, the transom shield, and a couple of the pieces up for sale on eBay. And I had a guy, a marine mechanic from Northern California, write me and make an offer on the engine, and he basically offered right around $1,900, and we were able to take it off of eBay to avoid fees. He mailed me a check, paid for the freight to get out to Northern California, and the engine was actually resurrected and put into a fishing boat. He had a client that was a commercial fisherman, and his particular setup on his boat, he had twin AQ170s. apparently one of the engines blew ahead, cracked and cracked a block, self-destructed itself in some way, and the easiest way for this mechanic to get this client's boat back up and running for him was just to try to find another complete engine. He had followed through on some of the videos and saw what had been done to the engine, went ahead and bought it. So in a way, the boat is still kind of doing, it's working still. It's still out in the water, at least the heart of it is. So, why are you making this video? I found another Chrysler Carvel. The problem is, right now it doesn't make any logistic sense to buy it. As I'm talking, I'm going to try to show some pictures of this boat. Troy, out on the west coast, is moving, and he's not going to be taking the boat with him. Good and bad. The good is, the boat's for sale. The bad, it has been sitting outside for 7 months. Now, I've been communicating just a little bit with him back and forth. I don't know if he's covered it up. The pictures that you're seeing right now are pictures that he recently just sent me. And from the looks of it, it looks like the boat's just dirty. Now, what's interesting about this boat, this Chrysler Carvel, now granted it's not my father's boat, I get it. It's the sentimental part as far as actually being attached to the actual object is not there. But I don't think there's any more of these out there. I've seen a couple of them pop up on Craigslist, but the condition of them were just, it was worse than the one that I had tried to restore. If you look at these pictures, this particular Chrysler Carvel has the original interior, the original blue vinyl interior, it's got to be vinyl, blue vinyl. It's got the original Chrysler boat seats. It's original as can be. The only thing that's been done to this that I can see is it looks like the outdrive was painted blue and a few other things. And if I wanted to say correctly, that bimini top looks original as well. Now, what does he want for it? Right now he's asking $2,500. He says he's negotiable. I don't want to negotiate with him unless I am 100% truly committed, ready to buy it. The other problem is getting it from the West Coast to the East Coast. Now, I can use U-Ship. My guesstimate is it will cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to have that thing brought clear across the United States. Don't know the condition of the trailer, the bearings, or anything on the wheel hubs, tire condition. So who even knows if it would make the journey? So what are you doing? Are you asking us for money, doing a campaign? I don't really know. I've been trying to ponder over making a video over this interesting revelation that's come up recently. I've never asked anybody for donations of money. I don't know if I would want anybody to donate any money. Maybe there's a millionaire out there watching us right now saying, hey, let's do it. I don't know. The Chrysler Carvel, in my opinion, has some awesome looking lines. I love the look of this boat. I love it. It kind of reminds me of a dolphin in the front of it, especially with the cathedral hull and stuff. But, or the whatever that hull type design is called, hydro hull, I think. But it has such a cool look to it, and to actually find one that's still in original condition. Now, hopefully, if this boat has been stored correctly, theoretically, nothing has to be done to it. Maybe the carburetors need to be cleaned out, which that's no big deal. But all the woodwork stuff that could rot has been replaced, so it would basically be a cosmetic restoration. And if you're looking at this picture versus this picture, at one time, he had this thing looking pretty nice. So, give me some feedback of what y'all think. My wife thinks I'm crazy about the idea of bringing it back here. We run into the same problem of where to store it. But there's like I said, the little twist at the end of this Chrysler Carvel series that could possibly go somewhere. Now, I've wrote Troy and I've told him that I was actually going to make a video out of it and find some feedback from some of my viewers, but let me know what you think. I know a lot of y'all have been asking for more videos, boat videos, Jeep videos, and I'm just trying to get caught up. Believe it or not, this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a couple months now, but I've just been trying to figure out how to put it together because if you haven't noticed, it's awfully long. So, again, if you have followed this video as long as it is, I really, really, really do appreciate it. My subscribers, y'all are incredible. Viewers, everybody who's been watching my YouTube channel, I read every single comment. I respond to every single comment. I'd like to get some feedback on this. What would you do in this situation? So, Thanks again for watching my videos. Click subscribe. You got to tap the screen and then the subscribe thing will pop up. Subscribe and then like, and we will see you soon.